Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought we would have a chat about wipes and cotton wool, and I'll just tell you where I'm at and show you some biodegradable wipes that I've bought and what I think of them, and also tell you how I got on making my own. I'm not calling it a review because at the end of all this I've kind of changed the way that I'm going to do things going forward, and I want to talk about the last two videos. So not the last two videos, but two videos recently that I got comments on. The first one was the number 7 video where I showed you my favourites and haul from number 7. And in that I had bought the number 7 face wipes. I have used face wipes for years for many different things, but one of the things I use them for is as a kind of first pass, just to take off most of my makeup. And then I do more with, you know, like my micellar oil or something like that. Or sometimes I wash it off in the shower and bath. And I also use them I use wipes on Watson, baby wipes. I use them sometimes to dust. I use them if I'm got makeup on my hands, I wipe the makeup off with them. And so, yeah, it was one of those things that I just had never really thought about. But in the number 7 video, there was 2 comments that were really, really helpful. And somebody had said that they had been watching a program about how bad wipes were for the environment. And that just, it was like a light bulb moment for me. Like, I don't know why I had never thought about that before. I suppose because, I know, because I've got so many different things I'm trying to do. 1,000,001 focuses, such as cruelty free, and I'm also, you know, always trying to research my health and my dog's health and just generally life, that sometimes the most obvious things can kind of slip past you. So I was really grateful for those couple of remarks saying that, you know, just to let you know they're really bad for the environment. And I was like, okay, did not know that, so that's a pretty easy thing for me to change. Even if I just said I'm never using wipes to remove makeup again, that's a pretty easy change. A video that went up soon after that had already been filmed was my Get Unready With Me, where I took my makeup off. And in that I used a wipe, and I also use actual cotton wool. And as one of my lovely viewers said, the wipes police were out. But also people were commenting on the cotton wool. So I've got a couple of things to say about that. Firstly, regarding the wipes, I removed the nasty comments. And I just want people to think about, if you're trying to get a message across, if you care about the environment, if you care about animals and you want to get a message across, calling somebody names is not the way to get your message to sink in. Because all I saw was name calling and nastiness, and so I removed the comments. To have a go at somebody and to tell them you're a horrible person, like I said, it doesn't mean you're not going to then let the actual message sink in. You're just going to bristle because somebody's telling you something horrible. Whereas on the other video where people had said, were you aware that these wipes cause problems to the environment? Could you perhaps try this? There's no bristling involved, it's just information given, and so I can process that information and decide to do something about it. But like I said, when you're just having a go at somebody, the message gets lost. I had already made a decision at that point anyway to not buy wipes going forward. But the other thing was, I used cotton wool in my Get Unready With Me, and I think I have done a few times on camera. And the interesting thing is that I got a lot of comments saying, oh, way too much cotton wool, terrible for the environment. Not one person said, have you tried this instead? Which again, like I said, if you want to get a message across, if I'm going to say to somebody, did you know that that's not cruelty free? Have you tried this one? It's just as good and you'll love it. That's a way to get somebody to change something, not just have a go at them. But interestingly, I have been using, these are my reusable cotton wool pads, if you like, for years. And I actually didn't use them on screen. I don't know, I guess I consciously made a decision not to use them on screen because I have a stock of cotton wool, because I used to buy it and I literally had 2 drawerfuls. And I felt that these looked too kind of dirty. Looking at them now, they don't actually look as bad as I thought, and these have been washed many, many times. What I do is I've got a little pile of these that I have in another bag like this actually, and then this hangs in my linen cupboard. And these are the ones that I've used, and they just go in there and get washed and reused. And before I bought these, I actually made my own. In fact, if you are a Patreon, you'll remember that I was talking about selling them, and I'm pretty sure that was a couple of years ago. So I made myself some. but yeah, I do still occasionally use cotton wool. I use it on if I'm doing my nails and I need to use alcohol. I use it for that, so it's just 1 or 2. And then, like I said, I was using them on screen just because I thought these looked dirty. Like I said, they actually don't. I think what I was thinking of is this, my face halo, because look at that, that's after being washed. It never ever comes up nice. I don't know why, but these do. So the second thing to say would be, I know that it's difficult not to make assumptions when you have just got the evidence in front of you is me using cotton wool to remove my makeup, but it's still an assumption, and actually 95% of the time I'm using reusable cotton. I just happen to not say it on screen and I happen to use cotton wool. I wasn't thinking. With wipes, I kind of hard on myself, as I am with everything, and my husband was like, wow, you do like to beat yourself up. But I was saying to him, I don't understand why I didn't think about this with wipes, you know, because I've thought about it with cotton wool for years, although part of that was also financial. When I first made my cotton wool, reusable cotton wool, it was because I was spending a lot of money on cotton wool, but I was also aware of the impact. But with wipes, I don't know why that just passed me by, why it didn't enter my head, but I suppose I'm somebody that I get up at 6 o'clock, I go to bed about 9, 10 o'clock, and in between that time I never stop. I'm constantly researching something or doing something or writing notes on something for YouTube. I'm always looking into something, whether it be for YouTube, whether it be for my health, for my dog's health, you know, or for cruelty-free items, something like that. So I think obvious things can sometimes just get missed, especially since I don't really watch the news, you know, don't stay up with current affairs. But I think I want people to know as well, it doesn't matter what you did from today backwards, it matters what you do from today going forward. And once you have the information and it has been pointed out to you, it matters what you do then. And so when I got the comments on the number 7 video, like I said, they were very helpful, and I was like, oh my goodness, how did I not even make that connection? Because I have a story for you where I really should have made the connection then about my dog, but I'll tell you that in a moment. So I just thought, you know what, if I just don't use wipes to remove makeup, that's not such a big deal. It's not like if you go cruelty-free, you've got to find cruelty-free replacements, etc. For me, it was like, I'll just not use wipes. I'll just continue doing what I'm doing with my reusable things and my oil and, you know. But I use baby wipes on Watson. I use them to dust. I use them sometimes to take makeup off my hands and things like that. So I thought, let me have a look into what I can do, because, you know, that's kind of my hobby anyway. So I bought these 2 biodegradable wipes. This one is by Mum and You. It says 100% biodegradable on the top, as gentle as cotton wool and water, suitable for newborns. This one is by the Cheeky Panda, biodegradable bamboo baby wipes. The only difference I think is this has aloe vera in it and some apple extract, although they don't smell at all. There's no fragrance, they're alcohol free. So they both looked pretty good. Definitely the best value for money if you buy them in a big box, which I did. So I have bought 24 of these, I think it is. Maybe it's 12. I bought a lot, but I thought that's okay, because what I'll do, I've got a neighbour with a baby that I have seen using wipes that are not biodegradable. I've got, there's a couple of people I know that I can say, oh, look, I bought a massive box of these, would you like some? And that will prevent them buying wipes that are not biodegradable, if that makes sense. And I think that's, you know, every little helps. But these I have tested and I like both of these. These, I don't feel any difference between these. By the way, I did test them out to remove my makeup just to see, you know, just as that first pass, and they're absolutely fine, but I just feel like, you know what, it's time to change. That was one of those things that I think was just a habit, and there was no reason to continue on with it. This is what they look like. They look no different. They feel no different. They're both the same sort of thickness. If I had to say, I'd say the Mum and You ones are a little bit softer when I feel them compared together like that, ever so slightly softer, and these ones are a bit stronger. Like, I know I can pull these a bit more without them ripping. These ones rip a bit more, so if I had to, I'd recommend the Mum and You ones, and they are what I'm going to use going forward for Watson's Balm, for occasionally cleaning hair dust, or, you know, clean up spilt makeup, wipe my hands, etc. That made me think, well, why don't I try and make my own wipes? So I got this, which I now regret a little bit actually, because I don't know what this is made of, and if this is no good, then that is another kind of bad contribution to the environment, if that makes sense. But it looked perfect. It's got a little flap that is very sturdy. One of the things I said I liked about the number 7 wipes, and you can put your own wipes in here. So you open it like that. I've put in some face cloths that I bought and soaked them with product. I soon realised that this wasn't going to work because it's not very securely stuck. So you can see it comes up, and that means these are going to dry out. So especially, there's only 2 in there at the moment, but I had a lot more in that, and it just sort of pushes this out, and then it's not, they're just going to dry out. This is just no good. This might actually work. I thought I might put a few of these in here, and I'm going to try to put some glue on it myself to make that a bit more secure. And then I can keep this in my bag when we go out with Watson, and I can use them for him, and you know, as hand wipes, etc. So it might work that way. What I then tried was using a glass jar, and this definitely works. This is a much better way of doing it. So these are just, I bought I think 12 face cloths. They're very, very thin. They may be bamboo. You can see they've got product in them, and I just slotted them into this jar, and I put a mixture of Micellar Water, which is here, my B Superdrug B Pure Micellar Water, and my Superdrug B Pure Micellar Oil. I mixed these 2 together in an old one of these. I would say I probably used 80% Micellar Water and 20% Micellar Oil, and soaked all of these in it and have been using those. And that's actually been quite nice. So for the days that I don't want to use, you know, water makeup removal, like a face wash or whatever, I can use these, and I don't just have to use them for the first pass. I've been using the whole thing and taking quite a lot of makeup off with it, and then just going in with Micellar Water, and that's doing the trick. I'll link these face cloths because they were really inexpensive and they're really nice and soft. However, all of this experience has made me rethink my whole cleansing routine. And I'm going to tell you again, I have done a video on this, but I'm going to tell you again why I wasn't ever keen on removing my makeup in the shower or bath or with water, with a water-based product. Some of my reasons are ridiculous, and I know that you'll laugh and be like, goodness, but you know, they're my reasons, and some of them are not so ridiculous. The ridiculous reason is that if, like I said, I get up early, I go to bed early, and in between that I'm running around doing stuff other than my skincare routine time, which is in the evening, and it's either when my husband is golfing practice and I sit there and do my skincare, get my bag that I showed you in that video, and take my makeup off, do my skincare routine and watch something on TV. That and the time I put my makeup on in the morning, that's the only time I'm really sitting down watching TV, having me time. Apart from my bath, I suppose. And so I really enjoy that. Now, if my husband's there and we're watching something on TV and I'm doing my makeup removal, if I then had to break away and go to the sink to wash my face, that it just would kind of break things up, and he'd be just sitting there waiting while something we were watching was on pause, and it would just ruin the whole thing, if you like. But the other thing is as well, if I'm washing my face at a sink, the water like runs down my arms and it drives me mad. I know that's a really silly thing, but I've talked in a video years ago about my weird things, and one of my weird things is I don't like water on me. I'm all right if I'm in the bath or in the shower or swimming, but I need to get dry immediately that I'm not in the water. Like I can't even sit in the bath with wet hands. I have to have a towel beside me and dry my hands. And so, you know, like I said, it may be ridiculous, but it is what it is. And if I'm washing my face in the water, I don't like that at all. So you say, well, why not just wash it off when you're in the shower or the bath? Which I do a lot of the time. I don't avoid it completely. But the problem is I have a shower or bath when I can, or depending on what I've been doing. So like when I was grooming a dog a couple of weeks ago, I had a shower in the middle of the day because I wanted to get all the hairs off me. If I've been grooming Watson, I'll have a shower in the middle of the day because I wanted to get the hairs off me. Mind you, in that instance, I would take my makeup off. But there's sometimes I'll have a shower or a bath, but I don't necessarily want to take my makeup off. I want to take my makeup off at the end of the day. So those silly reasons aside, there was a bigger reason why I didn't want to use like a face wash or anything. And that is that not that long ago, probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago maybe, I had very bad acne, and what would happen is one lump would come up, and that's happened recently. You'll remember because I've pointed it out. I had one under my nose and there was a scar under there for a long time, and I've now had a big one on my chin, which is healing now. But I'd get one lump come up, it'd be very painful, I'd be very self-conscious of it. And I noticed time and time again that if I used anything of a face wash and water combination, it would spread. I'd get another spot pop up. Whereas if I used cotton wool and a cleanser and didn't wash my face in the shower or bath, it wouldn't spread. It would just be that one lump and it would go away. And so that was the biggest reason I avoided it. And it wasn't just a one-off, you know, I tested that many, many times because it is much more convenient to just wash your face in the shower. And I had the same result. It would always mean that my acne spread. It's become more and more difficult, or no, not more and more difficult. It's become less enjoyable over the years to remove my makeup without water, i.e. using an oil and water mix or an oily product. Because the one that I started off using, or the one that I used for years, was the Garnier 2-in-1 makeup remover. It was, you know, half oil, half liquid. You shook it, used it, I loved it. That was what I did all the time. I used that in my cotton wool. I then switched to using these, which don't seem to be as enjoyable, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if that's just a psychological thing, but I definitely don't enjoy it as much, but it is what it is, that's what I do. But then the Garnier 2-in-1, they stopped making the 2-in-1 makeup remover, and they were the only company I knew that did something like that. Then I went cruelty-free, or I'm trying to go cruelty-free on all of my skincare, and Garnier is not cruelty-free. I have found some other products like the low viscosity cleaning ester by Niod, and also this Micellar Oil by Superdrug B, which are cruelty-free. The Niod one is expensive, too expensive for me to use all the time, and this one just isn't quite as nice as that. There's the Glossier one as well, which isn't quite as expensive, but is still expensive if that's the only method of makeup removal you're using constantly. So with the addition of this change in focus with the wipes, I thought, you know what, I think I'm just going to forget all of this faff, because whilst this is nice, it's a faff to mix all together, get these in here, you know, to be using regularly. So I have decided that if I am having a shower or a bath, I'll be taking my makeup off in the bath. And then the only times that I'll do it waterless will be if I have a spot that I don't want to, you know, move around my face. Saying that, I could probably just wash the rest of my face and avoid my chin, and then just use, you know, the other products for my chin, because it's normally just on my chin that I get a spot. And if I'd had like a shower in the middle of the day but wanted to keep my makeup on for some reason, then I would I'd use the products later that evening. But I'm going to try and just do it the easy way, if you like. In terms of products, I will probably use things like the Body Shop cleansing oil. You can use this in the shower, something like this. There's quite a few different oils out there that are cruelty-free and that I enjoy, and face washes. There is quite a lot of face wash products. There's the number 7, I think it's a balm, it's in a pot, that I really enjoy using that to take my makeup off as well. So yeah, I think that will just be easier. And what I will do is use these biodegradable wipes for Watson. If you're wondering how wipes affect the environment, etc., I said I would give you a story of something that happened to us, or happened to friends actually, but I was taking my dog Watson to meet his girlfriend, his long-term girlfriend. They've been friends since puppies. They adore each other. Watson is a fussy dog on who he plays with, but he'll always play with Lola. So they've known each other for 4.5 years. So we were meeting them at the beach, and normally at the beach I have to keep Watson on lead until Lola arrives, otherwise he'll run to the car park to try and find her, because he knows that that's where we meet her. They are concentrated on each other the whole walk, playing together. But this particular walk, Lola arrived, we let them both off lead, and they were both suddenly obsessed with scent, and their noses were both to the ground, and they were running around the beach, and we were like, what is it they're sniffing? And we couldn't see anything obvious, like big, but there were these little piles of kind of an orangey coloured substance, and we weren't sure what they were. At first we thought they were jellyfish, but realised they weren't, and we were like, they're so obsessed, and they were running everywhere smelling them. Couldn't see them eating them, but then Lola did seem to taste a bit of one, and so we put the dogs back on lead, because we were like, I don't know what this is, certainly don't want them eating it. I think Watson had a little bit as well. So it wasn't the greatest walk, to be honest. It was a really odd walk, and we normally have a wonderful time, but we're like, this is just weird, because we tried a couple of times to let them off when we got further along the beach, but there was more that we couldn't see. It was just sort of nearer to the sea, or, you know, out of our vision. And they were obsessed with it. And so we walked up onto the pier, and we're walking along the pavement with them on lead, which wasn't the greatest for them because they couldn't play. They were desperately trying to get back to the beach. As we were walking along, Lola started being sick. And if you know dogs, normally you can tell they're being sick. They sort of, you know, you can see their chest going and their head goes down. This wasn't like that. She just suddenly started projectile vomiting. And so we were convinced it was, you know, whatever she had eaten on the beach. And so the owner went and got a sample of it and took Lola to the vet and took the sample of what he had found to the vet. And what this substance turned out to be, it was actually in the papers, was a fatberg. And a fatberg is basically non-biodegradable products that have been in the sewer along with grease and oil, and it forms these big chunks of fatbergs, and they can be huge. There was a huge one in London, or they can be tiny little things. It's not all sewers, it is you know, ships that are emptying oil into the sea and things like that, but you know, that's one of the things that can be caused by wipes, because they are made up of oil, grease and non-biodegradable solid products such as wet wipes. So it just shows you how these things can affect you. And like I said, really, I should have made the connection there. But as I said, it doesn't matter what you've done, it matters what you do going forward. So they can affect the sea life. They're thought to not be very good for skin anyway. And so I think it's all round a good thing if you either use the biodegradable wipes or make your own, or just decide not to use wipes. I don't know whether these ones that are 100% biodegradable still have some issues. That's something I'd need to look into. Let me know if you do know about this. You know, or whether this is just for those people that are desperate to use wipes. So like I said, let me know. I will tell you what I've got on my face, because I think that's everything I've got to talk about today. Yeah, I'll list these wipes in case you're interested, and the face cloths that I got, because they're really soft and I'm going to use those as face cloths as well. Yeah, let me tell you what I'm wearing. I have got on the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation in 02. I have got on Anastasia Norvina palette, eyeshadow palette. On my cheeks is the Makeup Geek blush, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it in the description. Stila liquid lipstick in Caramello. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.